Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the Court Journal. Sniper J here. And a little background about me. I grew up playing basketball. Basketball runs through my blood. I've been playing since I was 2 years old. I won 3 state championships in high school. I got to play in college. I attended St. Louis University, then transferred to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Then I graduated. I got my first graduate degree at Mississippi State, where I also played basketball. And then I ended up transferring one more time due to COVID and had 1 year eligibility, and I was at Texas A&M. Uh, I've had the pleasure to move on past college and become a professional player. And I have visited countries with the likes of China, Ukraine, Japan, and this past year I played professionally in Portugal. So I just want to get my knowledge back about the game, and that's what I'm here for. So let's get to it. Welcome back to the Court General. This is Sniper J, and this is the first of a kind. It's an original. This podcast is about the X's and O's of basketball. It's the blueprint of how you get better, and I'm going to be teaching you about the X's and O's, the plays, how to break it down. It's really a mental thing. It's a mental game. It's all about the IQ, and this is what this podcast is going to do for you. And today, we're going to have an offensive segment and a defensive segment. And the offensive segment is everybody's favorite word in basketball, especially if you like to score, ISO. I'm going to go over everything ISO. I'm going to teach you the right spots to ISO in. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to even run through a couple actions that you can ISO in or get to an ISO in your favorite spot. So you get your favorite player there, or you can get yourself there. The second part is defense. Not everybody's favorite topic, but we have to go over it because you have to understand defense. And today we're going over a very simple term, simple defense. It's called pack line. And people have been running this for years. They run it ever since they were small all the way to the tall. So it's going to be very simple. Welcome to the offensive segment. Today we're going to talk about ISO. That's everybody's favorite word. And here, just to get started, here's a few spots that you can ISO from on a basketball court. So you can ISO from right here. 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 And you also can ISO from right here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots that you can ISO from. Most people like to get their taller players or bigger players to ISO down here closer to the basket because that's where they're more comfortable. These are more for the guards or the people that's shifty so they could get to the basket. And this could be anybody that you see who can have a mismatch. So the term ISO means isolation. That means that you are one-on-one with your defender. So if a man is ISOing right here, his defender is usually right here. They would like to keep this full side of the court, this empty, so they could play one-on-one towards the rim. So what does that mean for the other people? So you would like to have your other offensive players right here, right here, right here, and right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that way, these two have their lane to play one-on-one, and he can go left or he can go right. And this can happen on this side of the court as well. That is your first place you would like to ISO from. Sorry about the erasing, but we got to do it. That was for both wings. You could do that on either side. The second place I showed you was the top of the key. Now, most coaches like to ISO maybe a small quick guard right here, or somebody that's really good at mid-range jump shots or step back threes. And the rest of the players are just down on the baseline. They call it 4 low. So now he can play one-on-one with this guy, or he could step back. He has all this space to play one-on-one and get the bucket. Okay? Real simple, but I understand a lot of people know about ISOs, but do you know the meaning behind isolation and why it's there? No, and that's why I'm here today. So the post ISO is a little tricky, right? Because it's in the post. So usually on the post ISO, to give the big man as much room as needed, you would want a player right here, a shooter. You would want your other post player in the dunker spot. You would want a shooter right here and a shooter somewhere up here. Now these guys can rotate either way they see fit. They just have to be in an open area and able to make contact with this guy right here. This is where the basketball is at right now. They need to be finding an open gap and have eye contact with him. Now this type of spacing gives the post player, he can either go baseline or he could go middle. That's his ISO. If he face up, he still has this mid-range area to face up. That's his ISO. Now let's say he goes here. He keeps going here. This post player will come around. Okay, that's to ensure he keeps giving him space and his defender does not get in the way. If he was to go here, follow with me, I know the arrows is getting confusing a little bit, but if he goes baseline and it tries to make a play going baseline, he would tee up to the middle to give him optimal space to try to score. And that is how the post ISO would work. This next part of the ISO is a couple actions to get some of your best players into the isolations that you want. The first one I'm going to go through, you have a guard, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be the ISO for the wing. So the very first one we started. So first thing you would do, swing this man all the way to this corner. And these two men will set this type of screen. We haven't went over screens yet, so I'm just using very basic, generic words. But this is a type of action that has a name, but I'm not going to use it right now because we're strictly focusing on ISO. And here's your ISO guy. This is ISO guy right here. He's going to come over the top, and he's going to catch over here. So after all this, this is what it's going to look like. You have your ISO guy here. You have the corner guy here. You have your two screeners right here. They screen. You will want, once you got your point guard, you will want this screener to go here. You will want this screener to go down here to the dunker spot. And you would keep this guy right here. And now, after he has to chase over the two screens, he will have to play one-on-one in this ISO area. And he has that whole side of the lane. That's one action to get your play into an ISO. The next one, the next type of isolation action I'm going to tell you about is, let's say you have a left-handed player that loves to go left, and he's really good at getting downhill going left. This is the type of action you will want to run for him. You have the guard right here. You have a big man right here. You will have a shooter right here. You will have another shooter right here. And you will have the left-handed player right there. So you will want your point guard to dribble over to the wing. You will want your big man to set this type of screen for your left-handed player to come up and receive the ball. So the point guard is right here now. The left-handed ISO guy, left ISO, is right here. He throws the ball to him, and now he has the full left side of the court for ISO. And if this man helps, he kicks for a wide open corner three, which is the best three-pointer in the game, statistically speaking, because that's a shooter. The last ISO I would like to go over is the big man ISO. And this one, It's real simple. You have two men right here. You have a man right here. You have the point guard. And you have the shooter. The point guard would dribble over once again to this wing. This is where the point guard needs to be. You would have a shooter right here. The shooter's gonna set this type of screen for the big man. The big man can choose either way he wants to go, but the big man is going right here to this spot for the ISO, and then you will have your other big man clean it up for the shooter coming up top. Now, yes, you can get this shot. It's a cross screen, down screen. I know I wasn't gonna say screens, but that's what it is. You go across screen and then you go down screen and the shooter comes. That's an option. But right now, we want, let's say the cross screen has happened, the big man's right here. We want to get the ball to the big man. There's a shooter right here. There's gonna be a shooter right here. Sorry, this is the point guard that I'm erasing. There's gonna be a shooter right here that came off this down screen. And you will want this other post player to flare out right here for the ISO in the post. This is a shooter. In today's game, this will be a shooter as well, even though he's running the 4 or 5 spot, and this is a shooter as well. This is the big man with the ISO, and this is the PG. He has all this space to ISO, and if any one of these defenders helps off the shooter, he kicks it for a three-pointer. And that is it for ISO. Thank you. Welcome to the second part, or the second segment on the defensive segment, and today we're going to talk about pack line defense. And this is a real simple defense. So I'm going to draw the pack line right now, and this is usually how coaches tape it down on the court. That line right there is the pack line. So, and what pack line means is that you can have 5 players on offense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They're all on 3-point line. Let's say this player has the ball. The only person that's outside the pack line is the person guarding the ball. Everyone else is either on the pack line or inside the pack line. And that's how pack line defense works. So if the ball was swung, everybody would rotate. He would come out and guard the ball. He would move up. He would move up to this spot on the pack line. He would move over to be right here. He would drop back to replace that guy right there. And he would move over in the pack line. And if the ball was swung, it would be the same thing. He would go over, he would rotate to the pack line, he would rotate a little bit more over, he would rotate down and over, and he would rotate that way. Pack line is very simple. Pack line is made for teams that can't shoot. Do you know any teams that can't shoot? This is what pack line does. It packs the paint so that all the drivers cannot get into the paint. It makes it extremely tough to drive into the lane. As you can tell, all that traffic, all them defenders in the lane, it looks like a wall in there, and it forces the other team to take 3-point shots. Maybe they have some players that's not comfortable shooting a 3-pointer, or the whole team is not a good 3-point shooting team in general. The pack line defense is a good defense to run because it would prevent the team from driving to the goal and getting bucket after bucket. And that was the defensive segment. Real simple, sharp, to the point. I thank you. This was my first episode of the Court General. I thank you all so much for tuning in. I look forward to making more episodes. I think this is fun, learning the blueprint of basketball. I thank you again so much. I'm most grateful. Hashtag see the game, be the game. Peace.